Okay, so those, like, I think this is part 8. I'm losing track. I don't know what's going through my mind. I'm sorry. Anyway, I think it's part 8. There was like 30 people maybe sitting down in the stadium, and the lawn was like full already. And there was still more and more people going into the lawn, and I was just like, oh wow. So the people kept coming in, and since there was like hardly any people, me and my cousin tried to like move up, you know? And so we tried to move up, and we were just taking taking pictures of the stage. And there was some old lady with pink hair and shorts, and I was like, and she like worked with the stadium, so I was like, oh god. So we were just taking pictures, and then we acted like our tickets said those rows, so we just sat there, and I was still taking pictures, and she's like, excuse me, can I see? I think she was onto us too. She's like, excuse me, can I see y'all's tickets? And I was like, yeah, here, I'm just taking pictures. She was like, okay, well hurry up and take pictures and then go back to your seat. And I was like, okay, I'm just taking pictures. She was like, okay. So I took pictures, and we were just sitting there, and I like went up to the stage, and I was like, geez. So we were taking some pictures, and then we went back and sit down, and we were like, crap. And then we met this really nice girl, and then more people started coming in, and it was still kind of packed, and we went back because we asked the girl, like, do you want to sit by us? Because there was nobody sitting by us, so she wouldn't have to be by herself, because she was by herself. She came from Oklahoma. So she came and sat next to us, and she spilled my water, and I was like, crap. So then we went back before the concert started, and I went to go get a Gatorade with ice, and I set it down, and then she spilled it again, but she didn't know she spilled in it, so I was like, just like, I still had my cousin's Gatorade, so we were just sharing her Gatorade, and then all of a sudden, like, it got kind of full, and like there was still some empty seats, but it was still pretty full. And then all of a sudden we heard a voice, and he was like, hey, are you ready for One Direction? And everyone was just screaming and screaming. And then they're like, okay, well, whatever. And they started talking, like, but first give it up for Monica, whatever. Manica, I think her name was Manica. I personally have never heard of her. And apparently half of the people there haven't heard of her either, because everybody was sitting down. I felt so bad, but I didn't know none of her music, and she was dressed in a crazy tutu, but I didn't know her. So, I mean, I didn't want to be just standing up in the hot, so I just sat down, and I was just blowing up my beach ball. And my cousin, she couldn't blow it up, so I blew up 2 beach balls, so I was like, tough lungs, bro. And then she was to finish, blah blah blah, and then I felt so bad, because she was like, okay, now give it up. Like, she was leaving, and she said, when she said Ollie, everybody stood up, and that's when she was leaving. And then Ollie came out, and I was just like, my cousin doesn't know Ollie, so I was just like, oh. So it was just me, and I was just like, whoa, yeah, Ollie. There was only like one girl in front of me, two girls in front of me that knew about Ollie. That's it. And me and them were like the only ones singing along and jumping around to Ollie. And I was like, oh my gosh. In our section, at least. And then Ollie went off, and then, oh my god, everyone, they like played with our emotions. It wasn't fair. My voice is cracking. Anyway. Like, they weren't being fair. They were playing with our emotions. Ollie left, and it took a little while to like get everything set off. And then Josh came up, and everyone just started screaming and screaming. I guess he was like setting up or whatever. And it was just like, Josh! And everyone was just screaming.